Today begins day 4 to the war between Ukraine and Russia, East and West. This is the latest breaking news report, everything that you need to know from what's going on over there. Are we looking at things from the wrong perspective? Maybe this is not the fall of Kiev, not the destruction of Ukraine, but the fall of Putin in Russia? We are going to talk about that in just 1 minute. But before that, I want to say that Russia did pull a stunt today. It's like they're pranking Ukraine again and again. They offered to negotiate ceasefire and even negotiate peace. And they even sent a delegation to where? To Belarus. Now, keep in mind that Belarus has teamed up with Russia into invading Ukraine. So basically, Russia invited Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, to come to Belarus, a country that has attacked Ukraine, and negotiate a ceasefire there. President Zelensky said in response that he rejects this offer and he will not negotiate ceasefire in a country from which missiles are fired on Ukrainian civilians, which is a very, very brilliant answer, by the way. So now Putin understands that he has a big, big problem. Now, why? Because you have to understand that right now Putin is very frustrated. The Kremlin in Moscow is very, very frustrated. Putin put all of his cards on Ukraine. He was 100% sure that Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, will probably fall within hours. And now it's days and Ukraine is resisting. Kiev has not fallen like Putin expected. He really did believe that Kiev will fall into his hands very, very easily, forgetting the fact that during the time of the Soviet Union, the Ukrainian soldiers were the most fierce and the best ones. So they are right now giving Putin a taste of his own medicine. Now, Putin has two options. One, either end this war humiliated, less likely. Second option is destroy all of Ukraine and restore his honor and power, which is unfortunately seems like the option that Putin would choose, because as of now it is reported that Putin had used close to 50% of the power that he sent to attack Ukraine. So that's a lot of power, and the Ukrainians are resisting. So they are being heroes, basically. But you also need to understand that Russian soldiers, Russian military that is advancing into Ukraine, they don't really know what they're doing there.
Я в плену, бать.
Где?
В плену.
И что тут делать?
Не знаю, надо что-то решать, что-то делать.
So even they don't know why this war is happening. And by the way, they're all talking Russian. So they really don't know why they are attacking Ukraine.
Зачем пришел? В смысле, я не знаю. Зачем в город заходили?
And also Putin did not expect the SWIFT ban on Russia that is really going to harm the oligarchs and the elite in Russia who are best friends with Putin. SWIFT is basically the global network of international transactions between countries, money receiving and sending. So this ban on major banks in Russia is really harming Putin, who is, not to mention the fact that he is already getting massive protests against him within Russia, Russians standing united with their Ukrainian friends against Putin. So Putin's support is, I believe, lower than ever. And that happens because he really underestimated President Zelensky. He did not really want to negotiate ceasefire with him because he doesn't see Zelensky on the same level with him. Putin believes that he's a god, and he believes that Zelensky is not a god. So that's why he didn't even want to negotiate with Zelensky. That really played into the hands of Zelensky because Zelensky was underestimated, but the way Zelensky saved Kiev is very, very interesting. He ordered to take down all the signs in the major places in Kiev and the area and replace them, turn them around so that the Russian military that is trying to invade Kiev will get confused and drive in the wrong direction. And that actually helped. So everything that is happening is really playing against Putin, and that's why he's really angry. Maybe we are seeing the fall of Putin and his dictatorship, and not the fall of Kiev and the fall of Ukraine, because Putin started as a KGB agent, and then when the Soviet Union collapsed, he was really devastated. And when the Russian Federation was established in 1991, he was there in power. And so Putin was always in power ever since the Soviet Union had collapsed, and he wants to restore that. And Zelensky is really putting a fight to that. That's why a lot of world leaders that thought Ukraine will fall into Russian hands are now putting more support to Zelensky, sending military equipment, more money, because they really now believe that Zelensky could help maybe overthrow Putin. But keep in mind that this war is happening on Ukrainian soil. So there are Russian troops right now in Ukraine fighting and trying to take over cities. The second largest cities in Ukraine, Kharkov, is right now being surrounded, and reports of massive fighting undergoing in the city center. So they are there. Keep in mind that it is not Ukraine that started the war. It is not Ukraine that invaded foreign soil. It is the Russians that entered Ukrainian territory, and the war is undergoing on Ukrainian soil. That being said, this is what Trump had to say regarding this war last night.
China is threatening Taiwan. Russia is decimating Ukraine. Joe Biden has turned calm into chaos, competence into incompetence, stability into anarchy, and security into catastrophe. The Russian attack on Ukraine is appalling. It's an outrage and an atrocity that should never have been allowed to occur. It never would have occurred.
So this is everything that you need to know today. Putin is doing really bad. He's angry because his Russian troops, who are most likely to be drunk when they're fighting. I mean, look at these images. There are a lot of reports of tanks that are falling into trenches and water streams. It's like they don't know what they are doing. Putin is very angry. Ukraine is asking for more assistance. Ukraine is now asking foreigners that want to join and fight against the Russians. They are recruiting foreign citizens to help. They want to establish a foreign army that will help them fight, because the Ukrainians really need help. So that's the second point. And the third point is that Ukrainian people are resisting. They are not weak. They are strong, and they see your support. Keep that in mind. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date regarding this